As a teacher, I was mildly annoyed whenever homecoming week came around. The students, they came in the room, they had extra energy because of all of the events going on and the anticipation of other events coming towards the end of the week. So there was just a lot of added energy in the classroom. And yes, it annoyed me because I've got a job to do. And that and once I became a principal, just the anxiety was just totally on another level because as a principal, we knew what the students were planning to do. We knew what was coming. We had an idea. It was our job to definitely look at what the students wanted to do and give approval or give some parameters so that whatever they wanted to do, it didn't disrupt learning. And then we also had to look through the lens of, okay, how can this be perceived as sexual? How can it be possibly offensive? Is there something that we as the adults are possibly missing here that the students would try to slip through and get one over on us and do something that would that would paint the school in a bad light. And so there's just all these different things that we had to go through as a principal. And that's something I'm not going to miss this year as many schools are celebrating homecoming. And the reason why the anxiety level is potentially high. The reason why we're looking around the corner to see, okay, what could possibly go wrong is because of this story that I'm sharing with you today. Very serious story. Oklahoma high school has to cancel homecoming after disturbing photo of white students spelling out N word emerges. Now, these students, they lost their mind. They completely lost their mind. And this is why principals across the country have that anxiety about homecoming week, about what the students are planning to do. Now, as I understand it, what these students, what the activity was all the students were given letters, and they were doing some kind of Scrabble game, which is like that just that in and of itself, that's something that I would be hesitant to approve because that can go all different kind of ways. And as you can see here, it went really bad. Like this is terrible. This is terrible. And and the reason I say the students lost their minds is not only the decision that they made to do this, to spell that awful word, but to also to pose and take a picture as if there's nothing wrong. That is very troubling. That's very troubling, and it's troubling that these young men would decide to do this and they think that there's nothing wrong with it. And it's also sad that the rest of the school has to pay the price because further on in this article, which I will share with you, and again, those of you who are watching, you've got to hop on YouTube and look at this picture. Look at how comfortable these students are with the N word displayed, them lined up spelling the N word and posing for this picture. That's how amused they were by this moment. And as I'm looking at the picture, it looks like there is an adult standing behind them watching this happen. Now he's looking at their back, so he probably doesn't see. I'm gonna assume that he doesn't see the word being spelled because the the back of the students is facing this guy, and so he doesn't see the word that they're spelling. This is probably a common occurrence throughout the building on this day. The students are spelling different words, and I'm sure that 99.8% of the words were appropriate for school. But you have this right here, like these students, they have crossed the line, and um, so the principal put out a letter, did the right thing, letting the community know this is what happened, this is how we feel about what happened, and we are going to continue to monitor the situation. We condemn racism in our schools, and we're going to do our due diligence to to pursue discipline for those involved. Excellent letter. um but the harm, you can't undo the harm that was done. Like, this is shocking, ladies and gentlemen. This is shocking, to put your face on something like this. Like, these students, they're going to have to deal with this for a very, very long time. Potentially, they've shut doors on themselves for when it comes to different social circles, potential jobs in the future. They have shut doors of opportunity for themselves by posing in this picture, because it's all over social media. It's all over social media. The whole country is talking about it and is aware. And it's just, they're shocked. Absolutely shocked. And again, just sad. It's sad for the rest of the school student body who's doing what they were supposed to do. They're having a good time, having fun. Homecoming is only once a year, and you only get four of them in high school. And I mean, it says here in the superintendent's letter, uh, cancellation of homecoming activities, including the parade and the football game. Now, I wonder if this is a small town, and in those small towns, like the football game, I mean, that's a big deal. And so these students, they've made a terrible, shocking decision, and it's going to affect a lot of people. And we can only hope that as a result of this decision, as a result of this incident, a lot of learning will take place, and that's the only thing we can hope. A lot of learning will take place, and hopefully something like this will never ever happen again. But this is just this is terrible. These students, they lost their mind. They know what's going on in the world, and they said, forget that. I don't care. I think that this is amusing. I think it's worth it. And this is sad. It's very, very sad to see. But I'll tell you what, we still have a job to do. Now, we still have a job to do. We, as teachers, as leaders in the classroom, we we not only teach content, but as we as we construct our environment, the culture in our room, we teach we kids are able to learn if we teach that message that, hey, if we share this space together, we respect each other, everyone's going to have a great experience in this classroom. And so that is the work that we as teachers, that we do, and that this shows why it's important that we continue to teach that message. As we teach our content, we set our environment in a way that's conducive to students feeling comfortable to coming in and learning. And so that's the big takeaway. As really, really disappointing as this is, it reminds us that the work that we do to build the culture in our classroom is it's very important, because perhaps, and you'll never know, perhaps the things that you've done to build your culture and teach your students, really basically to abide by the golden rule, that work that you've done, it's prevented your students from making decisions like this. And I'm not saying that these students, they haven't learned the golden rule. I'm quite sure that they have. I'm quite sure that they've got teachers who are just very, very disappointed and don't know this side of these students. But I say that to say that we still need to continue to teach that message. golden rule: treat others how you want to be treated, and that the fruits of that work go a long way. And let's not, as disappointing as this is, let's not, um, don't let that stop you from continuing to do the good work that you're doing in your classroom in regards to teaching the content, and helping create that environment that is conducive to everyone coming in, learning, and feeling safe and accepted. Well, thank you so much for joining us for this episode. That's a really really tough one. This. I'll include this article in the description section. So that's it for today, and I'll see you in the next video.